On September 11, 2012, also known as the 11-year anniversary of the 9/11 terror attack, the United States consulate and CIA compound was under attack by Ansar al-Sharia, an Islamist militia group in support of Sharia law, aka ISIS. This act of terror is known as the Battle of Benghazi, which took place in Benghazi, Libya. These men were vulnerable given that they didn't have proper security and lack of weapons. Even with requests to our government to beef it up, these brave men, being retired CIA contractors and Navy SEALs, were left stranded with no help in Benghazi. At 9:40 p.m. on September 11th, armed members of this Islamic militia began attacking the compound from multiple directions, shouting Allahu Akbar, and then proceeded to throw grenades over the wall into the compound. Then they entered the building with automatic weapon fire and RPGs. The diplomatic security service viewed on the consulate security cameras that a very large number of armed men, flowing into the compound. An alarm was sounded over the loudspeaker and shouted, "Attack! Attack!" Stevens then began writing in his journal, asking for more security, but the State Department ignored those calls. Special agents secured U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and an information management officer, Sean Smith, into the building's safe haven, which was a safe shelter or hiding place. The attackers then rushed to the main building, trying to enter the safe space while Stevens and Smith moved to a nearby bathroom. The attackers then began to pour and spread diesel fuel throughout the area and lit the room into flames, leaving Stevens and Smith overcome by smoke and unable to escape. Stevens was the first U.S. ambassador killed in the line of duty since 1979. The Annex security had become aware of the attack and were ready to respond, but were delayed by the top CIA officer in Benghazi. Just after midnight, the attackers proceeded to the CIA Annex, which became under machine gun, rocket, and mortar fire. Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty, both CIA contractors and former Navy SEALs, were killed by several mortar rounds. So why did such a horrific attack like this occur? Secretary of State at the time, Hillary Clinton, blamed the whole attack on a YouTube video that the leader of Al-Qaeda released on September 10th, 18 hours before the attack, to coincide with the anniversary of 9/11. Which called for attacks on Americans that were in Libya to avenge the death of a high-ranking official within Al-Qaeda. Or maybe because our own State Department told our Department of Defense to not come to their assistance in Benghazi, and Hillary Clinton has the audacity to testify in front of Congress and say, "What difference does it make?" or "It wasn't my ball to carry." She was the one who turned down the idea of getting proper security from Chris Stevens. She that night was the highest chain of command as Secretary of State. 5 years ago, the morale case to come to the defense of Americans under attack was not a top priority, but it should have been. Nevertheless, we mourn on the same day those who died in New York and Benghazi, and they will forever be in our hearts.